What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. In today's episode, we talk about two important factors to get people to buy from you with confidence and be comfortable spending more money than they thought they were going to spend or what the competition wants to do the job. So tune into this one. It's a great sales episode. I think it's going to help you big time. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets Podcast. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Contractor Secrets Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about creating a product that is easy to sell. Now, there's nothing that's really easy to sell, but there's definitely something that's easier to sell than something that's not easy to sell. And I kind of want to liken this to really my own experience in the workforce. I didn't really know that I was going to be in sales. I kind of got pushed into it because naturally when I worked at the restaurant, I kind of picked up sales strategy by selling, the sushi rolls that were off the menu and really conveying to customers how great the product that I had was. And that confidence of believing in the product carried me really to where I am now. I mean, I've always found products that I believed in and was able to capitalize and use that as a hedge to the customer. There's just something that they feel, right? There's something that you convey when you know that you have a superior product. And I kind of want to hit on that today about sales and about really creating that product and conveying the superiority of that product. So kind of go back to my experience in the restaurant. I worked at a very popular sushi restaurant. And the fact of the matter is, I love the food. The food was phenomenal. And I knew that because I had such a love for the food and I enjoyed it, and I knew that my customers loved it, and I just knew that no matter what they ate, it would be a great experience. But the stuff that I knew that wasn't on the menu, if they tried that, it would be an amazing experience because of how good the things that we're offering were. And that was my goal, was to give them the best experience possible. Well, that made it easy for me to get people to say yes because they could see it in me. I was enthusiastic, and I think that in the trades, there's not enough enthusiasm happening. And I'm naturally enthusiastic just because I've been selling things for so long that I believe in, that I just kind of just adopted the enthusiasm. So for me, I kind of just want to hit on that because when you sell with enthusiasm, you convey an energy to your client, to your customer, of just belief, and they adopt that belief. There's some invisible energy happening there, and if I were to narrow down what I am so passionate about, my passion is this: what is it that makes somebody who has a budget in mind pay more? That's simple, right? I mean, what is it that does that? I mean, what is it, that thing that when you have a couple that says, we're not spending more than $3,000 to have our house painted, and then they meet me and I come in there and I sell the job for 4,500? What is it that gives them the green light mentally and emotionally to commit to something 50% above what their threshold was that they agreed on, and be happy about it and feel good about it? And be excited to pay it. And the reality of the situation is, it all comes down to an experience, okay? Because ultimately, I understand that what they are really paying for is a quality experience. Yes, a quality job is important, but at a quality experience, that's what people pay for. That's what people pay more for. Okay, so my job first is to create the experience. I got to create Disneyland. I got to make sure the rides are there. Not only do I got to make sure the rides are there, I got to make sure those rides run smooth. Not only do I got to make sure those rides run smooth, I got to make sure that when I have customers coming into my theme park, they have a good experience because there's not too much wait time. There's not uncomfortability. If they have questions, they get answered. If there's customer service, they're taken care of. And my job is to keep the morale of my customers happy. Okay, high, happy morale. Okay, so reality of the situation is, and I'm going to take it back to my sushi restaurant, is that I worked for, didn't know. um, the reality situation is my focus, even early on at 18, 19 years old, was I recognize that the greater the experience that this individual has, the more likely I'm going to get a better tip. Me being a broke, 17-year-old getting a job as a waiter at 18, I was money hungry and I needed it, so for me, I was so motivated to make sure that the individuals that sat at my tables had the best possible experience. That is the purpose of a good waiter. Think of the last time you went out to eat. And I say this because I just really want you to understand that sales doesn't always have to be direct. I believe that servers and waiters do indirect sales. They give you the greatest experience, and sometimes they will upsell different menu items based off of just trying to give you the best experience. It's not something that you have to do in order to get the experience. Like if you go into a car dealership, you've got to you got to buy a car, right? Like that gives you the experience. If you go into a restaurant, you pretty much, can dictate, what it is that you buy into, whether it's, just sitting down for a drink, or you can have the whole, just a couple appetizers, or you can have, a greater experience with different menu items. And if a good server comes up to you and offers you things that they know are in your best interest to give you the best possible experience, like they may ask you, so like, do you like shrimp? Do you like, this? Do you like this? Oh, okay. So I totally suggest you try this menu item that's off the menu, and you're gonna have a great experience. All of my customers love this sushi roll, right? And then they buy into you because of the enthusiasm that you have. And that's kind of what carried me and got me into sales. So for me, I kind of understood that. And every time that I am in a interaction with a potential customer, my focus isn't getting the sale. It's trying to, number one, help them visualize the experience that they're going to have should they go with us, because that's ultimately what everyone's after. That's human nature. We're all chasing a feeling. We're all chasing an experience. Okay, so if somebody walks into a car dealership, they're chasing the feeling of sitting in the car that they love, or they're chasing the experience of, upgrading their vehicle and having that Bluetooth or having that whatever. When they're purchasing a paint job, they want that experience, that feeling of satisfaction that their house is painted and it looks amazing. But we have to also convey that before they get there, there's also an experience that occurs, and that is our team. Our team is what creates that experience before the experience of satisfaction, before the end goal. Okay, so where I'm getting at with this entire episode here is understanding that it's your job to make sure that you are creating the best possible product to give to the market, because that's going to help you convey with enthusiasm that you are a superior company that will give them the best experience. I mentioned earlier, yes, there's some people that do not have a superior product and try to convey that they're a superior product. You're just going to burn out, because ultimately, after so many people being upset with you, that confidence drops. You can't help it. I mean, unless you are a master manipulator, there's no way that you can mask the fact that your product is not superior. So if you have, my painting guys, if you don't have a production crew that can take on a job that you're looking at, it's going to show in your face, it's going to show in your body, it's going to show in your tonality that I don't think that we're going to be able to provide a good experience here. And then some people will short circuit that because they need the money, and they will try to convince themselves, and not just themselves, the customer, that they are the best fit for the job. So your job is essentially to focus on creating the best experience for your customers. And I get all the way down to hiring when it comes down to this, because I'm looking at somebody when making a hiring decision and I think, okay, can I see this person creating a good experience for my customer verbally, communicating well, being enthusiastic, being happy to help? Do they have customer service skills? Because that's what I really want. That's what creates excitement in me when I tell them, hey, you are going to absolutely love my team. They are great. If you need something, just let them know. If there's something that needs to be moved, just ask them. To be happy to help you. If you need a light bulb changed, I'm sure Louis or Shamel or one of the guys is going to take great care of you without question. Those are the type of people that I look for because I know that the secret of this game is creating the best possible experience. Like that's the goal. That's what's going to carry me to the finish line. If I just focus on that, the sales come naturally because my enthusiasm is we are the absolute best. There's no better experience that you're going to get when you paint your home, and there's no better team that you're going to get to paint your home. Everyone loves my guys because they are so conscientious. They truly care. Same exact thing I used to do when I sold sushi. Hey, just so you know that you may have had some ideas. You might want the California roll. Listen, I've been doing this long enough to know that if you want the best possible experience, you've got to try the G roll. Okay, the G roll is actually named after one of an old server here, and he actually created the roll. His name is Gus, and he studied sushi, and he put together the perfect combination of shrimp, crab, avocado, mango, drizzled with coconut flakes. And then as I'm doing this, I'm like, listen, chances are if you try to do anything else, you are not going to get a good experience, and it's not saying that to be manipulative. It's saying, I know that for a fact. Like, yeah, you can go with the California roll, but I'm telling you, if you try this roll, you were going to want more and you're going to have a much better experience. Okay. So it's again, focusing on the experience when you're doing the selling, but you've got to believe in the experience. If I knew if that roll, that sushi roll wasn't good, then guess what? I have to face them and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And yeah, it does happen a couple times out of a large amount. People are just picky. I'm like, "Oh, well, I don't like mango on my sushi." Well, I have another one for you. But when it comes to doing home service projects, well, guess what? When we create that perfect, awesome experience and everything went smooth and everything went as promised, they're happy to pay you. They're just so happy because you delivered on those promises, because the focus is always, how can I create the best experience for my customers? How can I create the best product? I sold Toyotas. Everyone knows Toyota is a superior product against a lot of the other car makers. So for me, when people would tell me, yeah, I'm going to Nissan, I'm going to Honda to try out the equal or the equal car type, and I'd say, yeah, well, I would convey, like, listen, Toyota, we know, is like top safety. Is safety a priority to you? I mean, we know this. We know that Toyota spends a majority of their resources to ensure that their vehicles are the safest. The track records, I'm sure you still see Camrys driving around from 1990, safety and reliability. Some of the other vehicles may have bells and whistles, but when it comes to vehicles and it comes to driving, safety and reliability are the two most important things. And I think that, just from being a consumer and understanding just general information about cars, that Toyota has nailed those two things. So what did that do? It made the sale a little bit more easier because, again, I was able to convey my belief, and I was able to convey the experience, and I was able to showcase enthusiasm. So my chances of getting the sale are a lot higher. So let's get back to home service. Okay. Let's get back to doing in-home sales. If you're selling paint jobs, if you're selling whatever you're selling, okay. Again, having enthusiasm. We don't want to go into jobs timid. We don't want to be scared to answer the phone, right? We don't want to be scared to do things because we aren't confident in production. And it really always comes down to hiring. I mean, I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, you've got to have a hiring process. You've got to know what you're looking for. You've got to know that at the end of the day, it's all about creating an experience. It's all about conveying to individuals that you're worth paying more. There's not one situation that I couldn't look into and pinpoint what's going on. If someone tells me that they're upset that people aren't spending enough on their work, or they keep saying no, or, like they can't find good help, like all those roads lead to a couple things. One, your hiring process. Two, your ability to convey that you're worth paying more. And three, really ultimately, it comes down to your ability to continuously create the best experience possible. And yes, that also includes nurturing your employees, making sure that they're happy, making sure that they continue to want to provide the best experience possible. Yes, that comes in the form of raises, that comes in the form of praise, that comes in the form of balancing workload. I mean, no one said that being a business owner was easy. You've got to focus on these things. You've got to be a student of the game. You listening to this podcast shows me that you are. I get that. But ultimately, taking action on these things is huge. So I kind of want to recap a lot of this, and I also want to give you some action. So number one, focus on creating the best possible experience. Okay, because if you have the theme park, and the rides run well, and that once customers enter the theme park, they're happy and there's good morale. Okay, I used to play Sims. Anyone play Sims? You'd have a little gauge on there that would tell you the theme park morale. And when the roller coaster was broken and it didn't get fixed, the morale would go down on the game. And it's the same thing. Is something in your business not being fixed? Is there an employee that quit, I don't know, 4 weeks ago and you haven't filled the spot yet? Is that happening? Is that hurting the morale not only of the team, but of the theme park of your company? Because those are two things that you have to balance. I mean, the team morale is going to directly affect the morale of the customers. Okay. So if you're not helping balance the workload of your team, if you haven't made that hire that you need to make, their morale is going to drop because their workload is going up, and your customers' morale is going to drop because your team morale is low. Again, all roads lead back to the team. All roads lead back to hiring. I mean, that's it. That's the secret to success is great employees. I mean, so make that a focus. So we look at morale. We look at making sure that the theme park is running well. Okay, now if you're going to someone's house, are you conveying that if somebody were to enter your theme park, they're going to have a superior experience? Okay, and we're not doing that by bashing other theme parks, bashing other companies. Okay, we're not doing that. But what we are doing is explaining how that process is going to go. So, hey, you're going to enter my theme park, and the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to be greeted by, a big dancing bear, and that big dancing bear is going to help you pick colors. And you're going to go on the roller coaster, and that roller coaster has been built with the best possible equipment to make sure that you're safe, you're happy, and you're having fun. And then you can stop over here and you can have something to eat at one of the best restaurants in our theme park. Same thing with painting. I could sell anyone on Disney tickets. But ultimately, when it comes to painting, just so you know, here's how our process works. First things first, once you hire us, Joel will reach out to you. He's our pressure washing contractor, and he's going to schedule a date and time to get the house washed. Then after that, Donna's going to reach out to you, and she's going to give you a free color consultation, sit down with you for an hour and pick the perfect colors. And then after that, Shamel and his crew arrives at 8 o'clock on the start date. They're going to spend about 75% of the first day just prepping. We're going to sand down this. We're going to fill these cracks. We're going to fill these holes. We're going to fix that rot. We're going to put plastic here. We're going to do all this wonderful stuff to make sure that the surface that we're preparing is perfect. And then the next day, they're going to get started with painting. Our team works in unison. They've been working together now for about 2 years. So they have a great system down. They're fun to be around. Shamel is super intuitive with color, and he'll make sure that, you feel comfortable. And if there's any questions you have, direct them to him, and he'll be able to help you out. And after the job's done, we actually hand you blue tape. Have you ever done that before? No, what's that? Well, you take the blue tape and you run around and you put little pieces of blue tape anywhere you see a touch up. You have to understand that we get colorblind after looking at a house for so many days. So sometimes we miss a couple of things. And your help is definitely valued if you're interested. If not, we'll do it ourselves, but it's actually a fun thing to do, just to make sure that you feel like everything's been taken care of. And we don't mind, so don't be shy. And then after that, project manager Chris will come by and he'll double check everything, make sure it looks good, make sure you're happy. We'll leave you some touch up paint. And after that, I will give you a phone call and make sure that you're happy with the whole process. So that's how we operate. Experience. showcasing the experience with enthusiasm. I'm saying all this with confidence because I know that this is what we're going to deliver, but I put those things in place. I vetted my pressure washing guy to make sure he was phenomenal and on time. I vetted my color consultation specialist to make sure she was phenomenal and on time. I vetted Shamel as the project manager to make sure he was phenomenal and on time. I vetted Chris, my supervisor, to make sure he was phenomenal and on time. And then, of course, myself. So we're delivering the promises, creating the experience. Okay. So that's what your focus should be on, is creating the best possible experience for your customers and being able to deliver it. Okay. Obviously afterwards, but making sure that you convey that experience. And you can only do that when you have the experience and you built it and you nurture it and you grow it and you know that you're superior. So that's what I got for you. I hope it helps you understand how valuable creating and conveying the experiences to your customers. I know it's going to help you sell with enthusiasm, and enthusiasm is what gets people to move forward. Enthusiasm generates energy. Enthusiasm gets people excited. So I'm super happy that you jumped in with me. I'm glad that you listened all the way through. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Dripjobs CRM is finally here. That's right. So Dripjobs is an automation platform for contractors, home service professionals that's going to automatically follow up with your customers. It's going to allow you to send invoices, estimates. It's going to allow you to send out blast marketing emails to individuals based on where they are in the buying process. This software is next level. And I'm reaching out to you. You're a listener of this podcast, and I want you to be one of the first ones to give it a shot. So if you want to see what Dripjobs can do for your business, I'd love for you to head over to dripjobs.com, sign up for a free demo, and get your team involved, and let us sit with you and show you how powerful this software is. It's going to save you time, it's going to make you money, and you're going to love the features that are built into Dripjobs. So if you want to check it out, head over to dripjobs.com, and we will give you first priority being a podcast listener to be one of the very first to try out Dripjobs in your home service business. I'm super excited to share that with you, and I'll catch you on the next episode.